Hi, I'm Matt Gilbert, and every day I work with lots of anxiety and panic attacks. Lots of anxiety, not all, but a large proportion, starts with trauma, a traumatic event or series of events. Trauma comes in every size and shape imaginable, and I'm sure I don't need to list them. So what that traumatic event or events does or do is it triggers the mind into being super defensive. So that defense mechanism is useful when you're at immediate risk, but it actually doesn't apply when you're just doing regular day-to-day things, going to work, seeing your friends, driving a car, taking a bus, all that kind of thing. There isn't generally any risk in those environments. But because the mind has become super protective, it generates that anxiety as a fear response to what's happened to protect the person from that happening again. The problem with the deeper workings of our mind is they don't use any logic. So it doesn't look at the situation and think, well, I'm only going here and I've done it a million times and it's always been fine. It doesn't do that. It doesn't have that filter. So bang, the anxiety comes out full force, bang, the panic attack starts and the world starts to get smaller. The thing is, if I see 10,000 people with anxiety, it's slightly different or very different in every single one of them. So dealing with anxiety takes an individual approach, especially when trauma is involved. The way I work and the hundreds of therapists that I've trained work is that if you have been traumatized, the last thing you want to do, or the last thing that most people want to do, is talk about it. That can really reignite the traumatic experience or experiences. So we've developed over the years, it's widely used all around the world, we've developed a way of working that is sympathetic to that. So all we need to know is, I went through some trauma and now I'm anxious. That is enough, because these days, what goes on in there is so well understood. We know where these things get lodged, we know where they get stuck, we know how they, the cause and effect from trauma to anxiety to panic attacks, that kind of chain. We know how all of that works. Because we now understand how that works, we know how to unwind them. It doesn't mean reliving anything. It doesn't mean telling the story. It doesn't mean going over and over it. This isn't talking therapy. Talking therapy, the therapist is likely to say, would you like to tell me about that? What a stupid question. Of course nobody wants to tell those bad stories. Don't get me wrong, we are sympathetic to it. And if somebody wants to tell their story as part of their healing process, that's absolutely fine. As professional therapists, we hear these things every day. So if somebody wants to tell the story, that's fine. If somebody doesn't want to tell their story, that's also fine. It doesn't affect the outcome. It doesn't affect the number of sessions. It doesn't affect the time that the therapy takes. But what it does mean is the first thing we do, if we know that there has been trauma, is we get the deeper parts of the mind to let go of what it doesn't need. So it releases that really tight bond that trauma causes. It releases that. Then the things that were driving the anxiety to rear its ugly head all the time, they're not there anymore. So the anxiety suddenly goes down from a 10 out of 10, it comes down to a 1 or a 2. So a little bit of tidying up after that, and it's gone. And importantly, because we've released that trauma, the anxiety doesn't come back. With talking therapy, however, talking therapists basically try and condition you to kind of live with it or accept it and forgive everybody and that kind of thing. Which is why Ask any professional high-end therapist, and they will tell you that the majority of their clients, probably literally 8 out of 10, have been for talking therapy to various therapists. I've seen clients who've already seen 6 therapists and haven't had their resolution because all they've done is they've been re-traumatized by the therapist saying, tell me all about it. Bang! All the fireworks go off. So there is a way forward, without a shadow of doubt. There is a way forward. You don't have to tell your story. You do get your resolution. And because we do the work properly, the anxiety doesn't come back. How good does that sound? Feel free to put any questions or comments in the box. You can message me through my website at mattgilbert.co.uk. If this video has been okay and helpful, please click like or subscribe. It helps a great deal. Take care of yourselves. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.